Hello, fellow Americans. I'm Al Reason, the voice of reason, on this Tuesday, June 29th, 2010, day 71 of Obama's Gulf disaster. From the Hot Air blog comes this. A skimmer called the A-Whale builds itself as the largest open water oil skimmer in the world. Modified from being an oil and ore tanker, the ship's owners recently refitted the ship to do what is needed in the Gulf. According to the ship's project manager, the entire American effort in 66 days has skimmed off 600,000 barrels of oil. The ship's owners claim that A-Whale can skim 500,000 barrels a day. So where's the A-Whale now? It's on its way there after being tied to the dock in Norfolk, Virginia, and won't be allowed to join the cleanup effort until the Coast Guard and the EPA figure out whether it meets their standards. A-Whale is a Taiwanese-owned Liberian flag ship standing 10 stories high, stretches 1,115 feet in length, and has nearly a 200-foot beam. It displaces more water than an aircraft carrier. To be clear, the A-Whale has not been tested on the scale needed for this cleanup. Even if the A-Whale doesn't skim a single barrel of oil, they can hardly make the situation more than it is right now. Now let's get really confused about what can be done about the oil spill. I certainly am. According to the Maritime Executive magazine, the administration says no oil skimming vessels have been turned away, and no Jones Act waivers are needed to skim more than 3 miles offshore. The National Incident Command says there has been no case where an offer of foreign assistance has been declined because of the Jones Act. In fact, the U.S. State Department has said that a number of offers of assistance have been accepted, including Mexican skimmers, Norwegian skimming system, and other assets from Canada, Germany, and the Netherlands. The Jones Act supposedly does not even apply to skimming outside the 3 miles from the shore, as I said. Oil skimming inside 3 miles, however, including near the well 50 miles from shore, that is the source of that leak, is completely open to foreign oil spill response vessels. I hope I said outside of 3 miles. That's where the vast majority of skimming has occurred so far. We can see that in the flyover pictures, where we see no skimmers and an oil slick close to the Alabama and Mississippi coast. The Jones Act also can be waived on a case-by-case basis if there is a need for no American vessel, if there is a need but no American vessel is available to meet that need. The waiver process is always quick, but it has been streamlined even further by Admiral Allen. Additionally, on June 16, 2010, the Coast Guard Federal On-Scene Coordinator for the oil spill determined that there is an insufficient number of specialized oil skimming vessels in the U.S. to respond to this spill. This determination allows foreign specialized skimming vessels to be deployed within 3 miles of the shore if the foreign country provides the same privileges to American skimming vessels in the future. As for the Jones Act, the article says no individual waivers have been granted to date. It also addresses the Dutch oil skimmer story. The Consul General of the Netherlands was quoted as saying that the country offered vessels, but the U.S. and BP declined. Why? We do not know why those particular Dutch vessels were declined, or even if they were, but we do know it wasn't because of the Jones Act. At least, that's what we've been told. If the problem isn't the Jones Act, why isn't every available skimming vessel in the world at work at the Gulf? So why not just waive the whole Jones Act like the President Bush did after Hurricane Katrina? As noted, the problem is not the Jones Act, but possibly one of the overwhelming tasks of vetting resources necessary to meet this unprecedented disaster. As the needs and available resources are sorted out, every available and useful vehicle should be used. However, American vessels and American workers should be given first priority. The foreign oil skimmers may be working now, but the offer was apparently turned down because EPA regulations do not allow water with oil to be pumped back into the ocean. As I mentioned yesterday, I think it's 99.9985% has to be retained. Was this the EPA's decision? If so, why was the EPA making this decision instead of the MMS? Despite government's claims to the contrary, someone is telling oil skimmers they need a Jones Act waiver. Yesterday, BP reported on the giant A-Whale oil skimmer, saying the vessel's operator stated he needs a Jones Act waiver. even though his only mission is to skim oil more than 3 miles off the coast, something the Maritime article reports does not require a Jones Act waiver. Over 2 months, and no one even knows what the rules are that apply. So until the next time, this is Al Reason, the voice of reason.